Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. For the video today, I got a good one. We're going to be reacting to some more strange TikToks. If you're new here and you want to show some support, don't forget to leave a like, comment, or subscribe, stuff like that. Click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you want to join the Discord and come hang out with us over there, I'm going to leave a link in the description. But yeah, other than that, things are about to get weird. Let's get right to the video.
Gerber. I just opened this Gerber cereal right here for the baby. Just opened it. My precious little niece is drinking this shit every day. Just opened it, dumped it in this 1 gallon Ziploc bag. I got a magnet right here. You see that? You see the middle right there?
Oh,
it's in the bag.
come on.
Look at it coming out the cereal. This is what they're giving our babies. And we're allowing this shit? How are these people walking around, man? Look at that. All that is in the cereal. And it's probably in the formula and everything else. And that's just going by right here in this one little spot. I ain't even went across the whole thing. Metal all in here. Look at it. This is why the kids have autism and have all problems. Look at the metal coming out of this shit.
That is so crazy, because if it's in that, you already know it's in all the formula too. So if anybody has a kid out there, I would not be buying any of this stuff.
What the hell? Is this a dove, y'all? What kind of bird is this? Shit, you got that glow. Y'all know what kind of bird this is? Is it a dove? Where'd you come from? Could this be like a sign or something? All my spiritual people, if this is a dove, what does this mean? Because this is crazy. Like, he ain't even moving, nothing. I'm mad close to it. That's crazy. Yeah, let me know what this means, y'all.
Do any of my followers remember the series of videos I did about Basquiat? He was a famous artist back in the 1980s, idolized by many of those in Hollywood, including Jay-Z and Ellen DeGeneres. A lot of his artwork looks similar to this. Some of the articles I found allege that he was a medium, a magician, a shaman of sorts, and his mission was nothing less than restoration of powerful spiritual function to art, a channeling of the eternal through the ephemeral. They allege he learned Haitian voodoo from his mother, and he knows the lowest, the Haitian gods, and he knows what they sound like on a jazz record. You can hear Uzuli when she's speaking through a clarinet and understands the relationship between possession and the dance floor, and that the gods are in the music. Well, I had recently watched Sinners, yes, the movie about the vampires, but I noticed that in the movie they used blues and jazz music. When I researched why they included jazz music in a movie about vampires, it states one article even suggests that the music, particularly the blues, acts as a portal between different realms or dimensions within the film. But could it also do the thing in real life? While I was scrolling online yesterday, I had seen some things about what Willow Smith was posting on IG. I'm not going to post those here, but I did stumble across this video that she posted and I found it very interesting. Listen closely.
Jazz is the only genre of music that can hold every single genre of music inside of it without any friction.
So question, if jazz is the only genre of music that can hold any genre of music inside of it, does that mean that jazz music could be integrated in any genre of music? Stay with me.
The flower of life is the only geometrical shape that can hold every single shape inside of it. The circle can also hold every single shape inside of it. Jazz is the circle.
Jazz is a circle, but so are portals. So it has me wondering if jazz music is incorporated in every genre of music, and could it possibly open portals without people even realizing it? I think it's an absolutely bizarre thought, but they seem to think that it's possible to open portals through music. What do you guys think?
So once I got to digging, I started to notice that hexagons were literally the shape for interdimensional travel, as you can see from this clip from the Spider-Man movie. As Miles Morales is going through the interdimensional portal, it is the shape of a hexagon. So that brings me back to these light pillars. There is a phenomenon where we can see these light pillars with our observable eye, as you can see from this image above. But what's fascinating to me is that these light pillars are formed because light is reflecting off ice crystals, forming the image of a light pillar. But if you look at these light crystals that the light is reflecting off of, it is in the shape of a hexagon. And that's how these light pillars are formed. You know how I always say they hide the truth in the media? Well, what's interesting to me is that in a science fiction series called Stargate, the term Antarctic outpost describes a hexagonal structure buried under the ice that served as the last remnant of an ancient civilization. And this is what it looked like. As you can see, it has the hexagon shapes. But what really ties everything in about this show is that it's literally called Stargate, which are portals that lead to other realms. Now keep this image in mind because it is going to come back up again later. So in Antarctica, they actually have these things called hexagonal open-top chambers. So I decided to dig deep and figure out what that even was. And basically, they are environmental manipulation. They create an artificial microclimate. They increase the air temperature within the hexagon, simulating future warming scenarios. So why make them in the shape of a hexagon? Well, because certain hexagonal materials, like hexagonal boron nitride, have a layered structure that allows for very high thermal conductivity within the hexagonal plane. This is ideal for spreading heat away from a source. That part is important. Honeycomb panels are used for heat shielding. So let's say, for example, that a firmament was placed upon our realm and its purpose was to spread heat away from the internal artificial environment. That would explain why we are surrounded by an ice wall. Perhaps this firmament is made up of this hexagonal structure, spreading the heat away from the ice wall barrier. And that would make sense if we look at the movie The Hunger Games, because when Katniss shot her bow at the dome, it revealed a hexagonal structure. So the firmament could be made out of this hexagonal structure. So basically, our realm would be an artificial microclimate. And this is a visual of what that would look like. And if you were to create hundreds of these artificial microclimates, it would resemble this, which looks very similar to the other realms beyond the ice wall. Each one of them their own artificial microclimate, meaning within each dome it could have its own weather, its own ecosystem, its own environment, terrain. Now when it comes to the waters above this hexagonal firmament, it wouldn't be composed of H2O as we know it. It would be composed of H3O2, which is structured water, hexagonal water. So the waters above are not ordinary water, but structured dimensional waters, the medium through which interdimensional travel occurs. So the waters above would be energetic waters, a kind of living plasma type of water. And that's why I said to remember this image, because this could be what our realm looks like from the outside of our hexagonal firmament. And if our firmament is made up of hexagons, that would explain how the light pillars or interdimensional travel is possible within this realm.
After watching countless accounts of near-death experiences, also known as NDEs, I started to notice a distinct pattern emerge. Most of the NDEs I watched were beautiful, life-changing, and spiritual experiences. The person experiences death of the body, but not of the soul. As the soul leaves the body, it experiences a sensation of pure love, like nothing they've ever felt before. The person is then greeted by either a Jesus-type figure, a spirit guide, or an already deceased family member. A tunnel of light emerges, and the deceased family member or religious figure leads the soul into the tunnel of light, where the person sees a review of their life. Sometimes they are shown their past lives as well. They are then told they must go back as there is more work to be done, or this just isn't their time. However, after watching more NDEs than I'm proud to admit, I started to notice something a bit more sinister. The tunnel of light was not what it appeared to be, and these entities were not who they claimed to be. Some past life regressionists have inadvertently come to the same conclusion themselves in their own sessions. Italian past life regressionist Calogero Grafassi began to notice a distinct pattern of entities masquerading as Jesus-type figures appearing in his clients' sessions. Past life regressionists Tina Dodd and Karen Barkwan said the following: I'm a regressionist and spirit release practitioner. Most of my clients have been tricked into recycling through an infinite number of traumatic lives on Earth. These lives do nothing to grow the soul, and in fact, they can and do lead to soul degradation. Upon death, they are too sick and traumatized to make it through the lower realms, and end up stuck in the astral, trapped and used by dark entities to do their bidding. Or they end up roaming earthbound as what we would call ghosts, and attached to living humans, causing endless physical, emotional, and mental problems, or even house hauntings. Or they are taken in and tricked by false light beings into believing they need to fulfill some karma and recycle back to Earth. These beings are incredibly tricky and will make you believe that you actually have free will and get to participate in your life planning. They will play on your vulnerability and your need to help others by reincarnating. You agree because somehow you forget how hard it is when in the presence of that love. What we've seen is that love is used as an anesthetic. It is all-encompassing and it numbs you in a way. My sessions do not align with my colleagues, and it often makes me feel isolated and outcast from the community. What I've seen is that even the higher realms are part of the matrix system, and it's difficult to share this information with a community that only wants to believe in love and light. We do not need to suffer in order to learn. In fact, that whole belief system is what keeps us trapped here. We are whole and perfect and complete, exactly the way we are. We only need to remember that and have the intention to go back to the real world upon death.
The one thing I've always thought about with reincarnation, like especially with cameras and stuff that are around nowadays, like how many people have been watching a video and then seen themselves in their past life? Like, you know how crazy that would be?
So I was thinking this may be an easier way to show people what I was seeing here in Google Earth. See that? Looking that way? Nose, eye, pointy ear, chin, mouth.
Looks like
Pretty
Batman.
crazy, ain't it?
At least his
So there's a
nose.
lot more going on here that I see I'm not explaining, but I'll get to that later. Just follow me. But this right here, does it look familiar to anybody? Because it does to me. Leave in the comments what you think. Anyways, later.
What in tarnations is going on? You can find these humanoid beings in many old books and many old pictures, even on temples. But what are they? Monopods, also called scaeopods, skiapods, or skiapods, were mythological dwarf-like creatures with a single large foot extending from a leg centered in the middle of their bodies. But behind every myth, there's always some truth.
Why is their foot so big?
Now I don't know if this is a deformity or some type of disability, but it turns out these things were real.
Why do they make them like that? It's so weird. They need to quit doing that.
Ladies and gentlemen, pre-crime is officially here.
I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law enforcement. It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just onloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
It's America's early warning system to stop anti-Semitic attacks. And yes, it's going to be the Israeli government who are going to be the ones ordering the arrest of American citizens for crimes they've yet to commit. Oh, and one last thing, if you guys have ever heard of predictive programming, well, fun fact, the Israeli AI predictive policing technology is called Gideon, but Gideon also happens to be a character from the pre-crime division department in the movie Minority Report. Coincidence? You let me know.
It's the same old tricks that keep getting played over and over and over. It's getting old.
Alright, everybody, so I'm at the gas station on 7 Mile Grand River, and I'm reading Michigan Chronicle, right? Look at the date, July 23rd, 29, 2025. Look at the title, Black Children, White Curriculums. That's cool, but this is what I want y'all to read. Where I just read, former President Donald Trump. I'm just saying. Former President Donald Trump. 2025?
They might have slipped up.
Funky.
Can't sleep? Let's go down a rabbit hole. When do you think this island lost its name and why? It had a name in 1691. It had a name in 1758. Anegada is there in 1758 and today. And Anguilla is there in 1691, 1758, and today. But why doesn't it have a name on Google Earth?
Don't look like anybody lives there.
What do you think happened to Sombrero Island?
I'm going to start this video by saying this is for entertainment purposes only. That means pay attention. I found another reptile that we live on, and it was right in my face the whole time. And GTA 6 has been calling it and calling it and calling it, and I missed it up until now. Now, let's talk about it. I want you guys to take a real good look at Florida. A real good look at it. You got it? Now, for those of you that follow me, we figured out that these big lakes like this are eyes, okay? Keep up. Now, let's turn Florida sideways. What do you see?
It does
There's
look like
eye
it.
And a fang, people. These are fangs. This will collapse back into its mouth. Okay? All right, you guys, turn them phones sideways. This is absolutely insane. All right? So we have the head and you have your eye. All right? Right here is a nostril hole. All right. Yeah, let's get a little closer for you. And you can see how this look right here. All right. There's a nostril hole. And this up here is where the fang starts and comes out. All right. Pay attention. This is absolutely insane, people. You can see it. Look at the fang, you guys. I know you can see it. Absolutely insane. Now, what you have right here beside it, all right, you guys know I'm going to come with the juice. Let's get on the, get back. Get over there. I ain't trying to ask the expert anything. Got me in pop-ups and shit. All right. So this is what we have. See this area here? Around these fangs? All of this? That's what was connected right here to the fang. All right? All of this here is this here. Right there. All right? All the way down to the fang. And this goes all the way down to here. And this fang will not stop until it comes out into this point here. Actually, it almost looks like it kind of curved. All right. But Key West, all right, Key West, Florida, what we're looking at right now, that's what this is. There's the head. And I showed you guys all of these major lakes, big lakes like this are eyes. All right. Every big lake like this is an eye so far. Not like Lake Michigan and things like that. They're not put together like an eye like this. All right. But that is it. That fang comes out of the skull and comes down here. The same way this fang comes out of the skull and comes down. All right. It's absolutely insane, people. Once again, for those of you who follow me, you know what you're looking at. All right. This lake here, it's an eye. All right. And for those of you, when I showed you that Africa is the skull of a giant titan, lips, nose, forehead, look at the lake, eye. This is a complete eye socket right here. That elevation goes down right there inside of Africa, you all. And that lake right there is an eye. All right. Chin. All right. Jawbone. Jugular. Yes. Back of the skull. Yes. Yes. Yes, people. We've been lied to. Now, if we look at the anatomy, you can see that the brain is located behind the eye. There's the eye, and Orlando, this touristy place, is where the brain would be located. Absolutely amazing. Amazing.
This actually looks like fun. I would definitely go do this. These people are getting laid out. I want to know where this is at, because that's something I'd really like to go do. You can't tell me that don't look like a lot of fun. Besides the, like, flipping out of the cart and stuff, like, that would kind of suck. But other than that, that looks like a lot of fun. Alright, what's this thing supposed to be? Is it like a Snow White type thing?
Let's play a little word game here. So you have the plateau of Giza in honor of Ra. Now let's switch the letters I and A, and that gives you Gazi Ra. Let's put the Z and the Ra together. That gives you Ga Zira, or Ground Zira. Let's take a look at Ga Zira at the most important pyramid, the Pyramid of Menkora. So let's go to the real Ground Zero. Let's take the map of Ga Zira and compare it with Ground Zero. 1, 2, 3, and the Sphinx. Let's put the two maps on each other and compare. Highlight the triangles and put it on top of the Ground Zero map. Now you will see that the top pyramid has a deviation to the right and the lowest pyramid a deviation to the left. So that gives you two different angles. Why is that? Well, I think there's an alignment here. For people who know my work, you know you have to flip horizontally the Americas and put it under Eurasia. That gives you the alignment. Okay, let's move along and take a look at the Great Sphinx. In Ground Zero it is called Oculus. Oculus means eye in Latin. Is it an eye? Apparently, but let's take a look at the Sphinx. Usually people think that the Sphinx is a line. But now I'm 100% certain that the Sphinx is the dog Anubis. So Oculus stands for Anubis. Let's take a look at the head of Anubis. Cut it in half. The inside. I can see the silhouette of the Anubis dog. I don't know about you. Another coincidence? The World Trade Center is a terminal in the PATH railway system. Or should we say PTA? Take a look at the two pyramids, the North Pole and the South Pole. What a joke. Parasite humor. At the memorial in honor of the dead. Oh, my heart is breaking. In the middle of the water you have the capstones. Or do we have to imagine a pyramid like this? That reminded me of some tricks to create a hologram. Is there an agenda playing here? That reminds me of the Spiral of Norway. Let's take a look again at the strangeness of this phenomenon. No. It was a missile. Sure, World War II. At that moment, I started to look at ways to make a hologram. This particular video drew my attention because of the two lights, the blue and the red. And here you have the hologram. But the absolute mind blower was this one. He opened a new gate. Take a look at it. And now it comes. Wow. Same story with a red light. Now let's do it with two lasers. Wow. this is absolutely mind-blowing. That, of course, reminded me of the moon and the sun being reflections of Earth. So at that point I thought, what could be the laser here on planet Earth? Seemed like obvious. So I started looking if someone had this idea before. And yes. So in that case, you would have a moon pyramid and a sun pyramid. It's not quite clear at the Gizeh plateau which one is which, but you have two pyramids in Teotihuacan. One is called the Sun Pyramid and the other one the Moon Pyramid. So we have three systems now. You have the system of Giza, Teotihuacan and Ground Zero. So you have the two main pyramids, but then you have a third pyramid or building, which in my view is the control center.
Listen, family, here's another reason why you shouldn't even be trying to wake people up. When they say that a person wakes up on their own time when they're ready, there's a deeper meaning behind this. You gotta understand, the themes of your life was already planned out. Some people, they're not meant to wake up. That is not what their higher self wants for them. Think about it like this. Really put into perspective. Let's say you and a bunch of beings say, all right, we're going to incarnate into this world as this species. And some of y'all say, I want to go through a path of enlightenment. Then some say, I want to be a professional tennis player. One being says, I want to be a chef and have a family. Like my whole point is, not every being wants to wake up. And some people may think, well, why wouldn't they? Some souls just want to live out their lives the way it was meant to be lived out. They will wake up eventually. It might not be this lifetime. If you have woken up in this lifetime, you are an old soul. Listen, and most people really don't understand what that means. There's a misconception of the meaning old soul. I promise you, if you are a conscious being, you are an old soul. There are things that you need to go through in the physical experience, and that usually takes lifetimes before your soul is even thinking of the idea of you walking on this path. At least in this time and age, in this realm that we're currently in. Because here's the thing about time. You know what? I'm going to save that for another video. We ain't even going to talk about the concept of time. But it is very simple. Now I'm going to use a quote that I had said once before. If I set my alarm clock at 9 a.m. and you set your alarm clock at 7 a.m. and before I went to bed, I said like, yo, I don't want to wake up before 9 a.m. by any means necessary. Like 9 a.m. is the time I want to wake up. That's it. That's what I want. Then when your alarm goes off at 7 a.m., but this is the thing, you didn't know that my alarm was set for 9 a.m. You didn't know like that's the time I wanted to wake up and that's it. So when you wake up at 7 a.m. and you're amazed at what your eyes are seeing, you're just so happy to be awake. And then you see someone who's sleeping, you're like, oh my God, I got to wake them up too. They got to experience this as well. But it's 7 a.m. Your alarm was set for 7 a.m. I wanted to wake up at 9. If you come waking me up at 7 before my alarm, what is the natural reaction? It's not going to be a positive one. I'm probably not going to be open to you. I'm probably going to go back to sleep.
And Ellen noticed that when they exposed cell phones to flies for consecutive days, 5 days to be exact, they couldn't have any more baby flies. Right here, this young fellow, Alan, that's his name. And then he noticed when they exposed flies for only 2 days, they could not have 50% of the amount of babies that they used to have. So when everybody's like, oh, we can't figure out why we can't have children. Cell phones, you get it? Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, we're electrical beings. And all this electricity and radio frequencies is just messing that up. So, you know, when you want to get into it, if you want to have children and be fertile, you need to get rid of the Wi-Fi. You could do some raw eggs, which is very important. You could do some bee pollen. You could do some shilajit. You could do some pearl powder. You could do some cordyceps. I mean, there's a lot you can do. You can feed those organs. But you also need to get rid of the toxic Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all of this nonsense.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride. We can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to put bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now. To a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever.
I've never seen this guy before, but he was spitting facts. If anybody knows his name, will you let me know in the comments so I can look him up? But alright you guys, that's going to be it for the video today. If you made it all the way to the end, don't forget to leave a like, comment, or subscribe, stuff like that. Let me know what you guys think. And don't forget, I'm going to be leaving a link in the description if you want to join the Discord. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for today. Make sure you guys stay safe out there, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.